Hello everyone and welcome to this week's reviews. Beatrix Potter's beloved stories finally hit the big screen as her famous bunny continues his quest to steal vegetables from Mr. McGregor's garden. Will he succeed in his goal unscathed? This is Peter Rabbit. With an American director and studio handling Peter Rabbit, I can understand the trepidation that Potter's books would be Hollywoodized. Thankfully, Will Gluck manages to keep that British quality intact, with a rather lovely take on Peter Rabbit and the other animals residing in the Lake District. It's clear a lot of care has been taken to depict her creations properly, and for Beatrix Potter fans, it's fun to spot characters like Mr. Jeremy Fisher and Johnny Townmouse. Ultimately, Peter Rabbit highlights a meaningful message about sharing and compromise, as Peter and the old McGregor's young nephew Thomas engage in a tug-of-war over the garden. Donald Gleason is quite excellent as Thomas, clearly showing his frustration at this sneaky rabbit, and at times he almost seems to be channeling his inner John Cleese. He also has some sweet chemistry with the pro-animal rights next-door neighbor played by Rose Byrne. That's right, there's also a pro-animal rights message, which I appreciated. While the trailers seem to be emphasizing the slapstick comedy, most of the script relies on verbal humor, with that trademark British wit. While I would have preferred a little less John Hughes-esque slapstick, Gleason really proves himself to be a terrific physical actor. There were multiple points where I found myself laughing, with quite a number of them being his pratfalls. It's actually not as one-sided as you might think, as the film does show when Peter is in the wrong, and we see both characters grow and learn lessons along the way. I also have to mention the wonderful animation from the team at Animal-Logic. Having seen rabbits scurry around outside looking for food, the animators really got their mannerisms and personalities down. There are even a couple of beautiful hand-drawn animated sequences done in Beatrix Potter's style. In conclusion, Peter Rabbit is a nicely done adaptation of those stories, and I was all smiles throughout the entire film. Next up is the latest Cloverfield movie, now on Netflix, The Cloverfield Paradox. Much like everyone else, I was surprised when on Sunday evening it was announced a new Cloverfield film was going to be going on Netflix right after that big rugby game that was on. And as somebody with a fondness for neat science fiction films, I watched it hoping for that. And I got it. While one could argue this is a horror film and this is a part of the Cloverfield universe, it's not so much a monster as it is intersecting dimensions that provides the terror for this crew on the space station. You really get a sense of their uncertainty and fright with how these multiple dimensions collide. All the actors work really well, though it's Gugu Mbatha-Raw who is especially good as the lead character. However, I felt each astronaut was distinct enough, and with the exception of Zee Zong's astronaut, each of their arcs kept my interest. Director Julius Onah mounts some inventive sequences, which I think are best left as surprises. But I really got a sense of how each astronaut was feeling, and the production design really heightened the claustrophobia of this space station. Less successful, I felt, was the subplot of Mbatha-Raw's husband back on Earth. I understand why it's there, but I kept finding myself zoning out whenever it cut back to him. Nonetheless, I appreciated what the Cloverfield Paradox set out to do, and it was a film that kept my mind racing as I was watching it, and there was almost an old-fashioned B-movie vibe to it that I dug. Like I said, it's on Netflix, so you can watch it and form your own opinion and conclusions. Thanks for watching this week's reviews, and I'll see you next time.